Hello, my name is Bethany Jobb. I am 55 years young. I just wanted to do a video, maybe a couple of videos, just to tell you about myself. I was born and raised in a rural community in the province of Ontario. I lived near a lake. It was called Lake Huron. My parents operated a farm. In fact, when I was young, my parents, over the years, bought about 4 different properties, and so they owned 4 different farms. We lived on the home farm, and then across the road from us, my father owned a property, and his parents lived in a cottage-style house that he and his younger brother had built for them before I was born. My dad also had another farm that he just did cash cropping on, and then a 4th farm where the hired hand that my parents had when I was young, he and his family lived in that house on that farm. It was a great experience growing up on a farm. We learned how to help out at a young age, which I don't think is a bad thing. It helped me develop a good work ethic. I didn't work on the farm as much as my siblings, but my parents did have us cut grass, and I helped my mother a lot, weeding big gardens that we had. I remember doing a lot of weeding in my youth. I would weed flower beds and vegetable gardens. For a while when I was in my 20s and 30s, I detested gardening, and I didn't do any gardening. It's only been the last few years that I've started to enjoy gardening again, because I did so much weeding as a child. I didn't like gardening at all. My mother was a really good gardener. We also, when I was young, had an airplane. So my father had a building on the farm where he kept the airplane. But the airplane was just a 2-seater, so none of us could go up with my father at the same time. One of us could only go at a time, because there was only a second seat in the airplane. This didn't work out too well with a family of 5 children. I have an older sister and an older brother, and a younger sister and a younger brother. So my mother thought we should do something more family oriented. So my dad took an interest in, because we lived near the water, he took an interest in sailing. So when I was young, he decided that we should buy a sailboat. So in my youth, we did a lot of traveling on the boat. This was our vacation. We would go up to the Tobermory area in Ontario, and we would boat around there. And anything my father liked to do, he would always develop a business around it. So he decided that he would open a marine store right on the farm. My parents would go to Toronto, which was a metropolitan city on the 401 in Ontario, and they would go to different distributors there and purchase marine supplies so that we had inventory in the store. And I would work with my mother on helping put away the inventory and marking it with a price. And on Fridays and Saturdays, the store was open, and on Saturdays I would go over. The store was across the road where my grandparents lived, the building where the store was in, and I would go work in the store and would meet lots of different people. It was a great experience, and I got to learn how to work customer relations. My parents also briefly had a meat market. This was before the marine store. My parents decided they would sell meat, because they would buy cattle in out west in Canada, and they would go there every year for a couple of weeks and go to the different ranches and purchase young calves. And then when the calves got old enough, they would come back to the farm, travel back to Ontario, and come into the farm into the barns, and we would feed them. And as they got older, they would be sold for meat. So my parents opened a meat market, which my mother ran for a couple of years before the marine store. The other thing my father did briefly was he had an auction site where he built an auction on the back of one of the home farm. He built an auction place, fenced it in, and for a brief period, very brief, he hired an auctioneer, and they would sell the cattle right there instead of taking them somewhere else. So all of these experiences got me interested in having my own business and working for myself. I thought if my parents could do it, why not me? My father encouraged us to go to school and get some education and not just be reliant upon the farm. So I did go to college when I was in my 18 to 20, and at the time I decided that I would go and work for someone as an employee. This wasn't something I'd grown up with, but it's something that sort of just happened, if you know what I mean. I'm sure all of us have had experiences where we plan to do one thing, but life sort of takes us in a different direction for a while. So this is the end of this video, and I will do another video and tell you more about myself. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I look forward to getting to tell you more about me and getting to know you better. Have a great day.